We are now live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Space Engineers. If you haven't, come join me. You should be able to join. I'm not sure how you join a game in Space Engineers, but it's set to public, so anybody can join. I think. Don't quote me on that. Anyways, hello, welcome. I still got this stupid Plague Doctor mask on. I've been looking for another thing so I can express maybe a little more emotion while still hiding my face a bit better. Anyways, let's load up this game. Just know it's not 100% survival because chaos is going to go down. Now let's see.
Fuel
There
critical.
there's health. You'll get warnings if you don't get your fuel, which get really annoying, might I say. Inventory space is 10 times more. Everything else is realistic except for welding and grinding speed, which is 0.5 times is 0.5 of normal. All right, what was I doing down here? Wait a second. Oh, okay, it did save. Huh. Well, now that I know that's good, it's time to make something back here. Now, I do have a few mods in here, such as shields. I've actually got a shield mod on. So, wait, I didn't line that side with what? Okay, hold on. Options, game, line. I forgot I need to click OK and not escape. Now, for whatever reason, hydrogen fuel isn't a worry for me. But otherwise, health exists, oxygen exists, power exists, everything else, not so much. You can instant build anything, so that's nice. What the heck is that? Never mind about that. That's a part of a mod known as Stargate. Some people might be able to put together some similarities to a few things. There. I think that looks nice. Why won't you disappear? Oh, hello, random person. How are you, friend? Hey, if you have this game, you can join me. Otherwise, I'm not sure how else to join. Alright. I need this. Shield control table. So. That can go down, that can go down. Now we get 1x2 flat windows. You do not, that sucks. Yeah, I've set the game currently to public, so I presume that means anybody can play. Anybody who has the game can join me. But I'm not sure who has the game, so. Alright, shield is up. Charge rate up. Size. Let's max it out. Okay, high reflective, visible on hit. Show hit wave animation. There. Epic. Alright, that works. Okay, shield enhancer is up. Modulator is up. Alright, that should be good. And the shield emitter is also up. So, this is all good. Looks great, even. I do have cheats enabled and everything, so not 100% survival, but then again, this isn't meant to be 100% survival because chaos is supposed to ensue eventually. I'm not sure when that will happen. Alright, let's get up here. I should make a staircase or something. You know what? Staircase. You know what? Let's make a staircase here. Stairs. Right. Oh yeah. Where are my heavy blocks? There. Perfect. Oh, come on.
Fuel critical.
Oh, come on. Okay. Stair. Ouch. At least I don't have, that didn't do anything. There is health enabled, so that's something. Hydrogen I don't need to worry about. Nah, I'm not, I can't remember what else I don't have to worry about. Oh yes, building costs I don't have to worry about. But otherwise, that's about it. Okay, I'm not a fan of that, so, you know what? Ramp, there. Heavy, oh no, I want normal heavy armor block, then ramp. There we go, that works. That works perfectly fine. There.
Hello there, mate.
Oi! 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 What do you think you're doing here?
Minding my own business. What do you expect?
Doesn't sound like you. But you pass.
Okay, normal day on Earth. Am I right? Ha.
Not on this Earth.
Well, you're playing Space Engineers.
Exactly. It's not going to ever be a normal day on this Earth.
Gonna be more like Australia.
There. Some nice railings so you can't jump off and kill yourself.
Don't touch your
Alright, now what? I've upgraded this base quite a bit. I mean, you should have seen what it originally looked like. It was much different. I mean, first off, it was white and blue. But now I've made it black and green, so nice looking.
What was that game called that you played yesterday? Jetline?
Yeah, Jetline. Or Flightline. No, yeah, Flightline, that's it.
Okay.
Why, you want to play it?
I want to try it out. I should not be a pilot. Especially me. You're okay. You crashed your planes like 3 times.
I crashed all the big ones.
But the small ones, almost.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had a 100% success. I can't say it. Help me.
You just said that word.
Whatever the word is, I've never had one.
Successful.
There we go.
Boy.
Yeah, I'm horrible at speaking if you couldn't tell. Alright, nanite, nanite. Perfect. Alright.
Wait, okay. Short haul airliners, the smaller ones of the bunch, but not any less capable. What?
That basically means they're smaller, but easier to control.
No, God, it's a small
Success.
one.
Oh, there we go. Thank you, random person. Thank you. You've made me successfully say it. I don't know how
Success.
come I don't know why I struggle with the word, but I do. Oh my gosh, this thing is giant. Yeah, I can't fit that in there. Oh, in here. All right, now nanite control stuff.
Am I broke in this game?
Okay, where is the... Oh, what the heck?
Which one is this?
Cosmic coffee? Okay.
Whoa, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, sounds good, doesn't it?
The sweetest coffee you can
Oh, yeah.
make
So,
with artificial sweetener.
you know why you asked me why we're called
Fuel
Stargate?
critical.
Why?
You know what? You remember how you've asked me why we're called Stargate, right?
Yes.
Look at the stream. Maybe that'll give you a hint.
Oh, that's where you got the idea, huh?
Yes. Yes, that is. But that's not the only reason why we're called Stargate.
But at the same time, that does make sense. And I'm most likely gonna crash this plane.
Water.
Mmm. Good old delicious water that's colorless and
Water is great.
Hey, it's a colorless and non-tasteful thing. That's how good water
Nanite
is.
blocks. There we go. All right, what do I need? So, let's see. Let's make this the constructor. Yeah, that
Engine
sounds
is
good.
starting up.
Yeah, I will warn you. Playing that game can be quite tricky. Anyways, hold on. I'm taking off my headphones for a second.
Jesus
I can
Christ,
adjust
why
the-
is it so
okay.
loud?
Huh?
Why is it so loud?
Because they're jet engines. What else do you expect? Also, before takeoff, make sure you set your flaps. If you don't set your flaps, that is the difference between life and death.
Okay, I have to put you to 200 because I can't hear you.
Ree!
It's like... It's like at 90 decibels of noise.
Oof.
Now, I'm more likely 100 decibels into my ears, right? Direct them into my eardrums. Bleeding with immense force. Like a Friday night. You
Well,
might not get
how
that
much
joke,
do you
but it's a good
party at
joke.
night? How much partying do you do?
Not much. I just chop wood in the backyard. William Soul Square.
Oh. Alright, what the?
Yeah, somebody's already there. William
So, what
Soul-
plane do you currently have?
Well, what was it? I did not see it.
Is it one of the small, medium, or large?
It's the small, medium. I mean, not the small, medium. The small ones.
Oh, there's only one small one, so I know what you're talking about.
No, there is. There are like 3 of them.
No, those are the airliners, dude.
Oh, okay. There's the sea. Okay. Wait, really? Short haul airliners. The Seaborne Airlines, Regional Express.
Yeah,
Okay.
those are actual airplane.
Okay, I see what you mean now.
All right, let's see. Now, nanite blocks. Let's see. Deconstructor upgrades. Perfect.
Meteor
SPS.
storm inbound.
Oh no, a meteor storm is inbound. Are you dying?
A little bit.
Ooh, I hear explosions.
Oh God.
Those are the meteors, my friend. They can do actual damage to my base, so I'm hoping
know.
they don't hit my base. Oh, geez, they're
Okay.
hitting the shield of the base. But they
Spoilers,
don't hit the
NA.
base. That's good.
What does that mean by spoilers, NA?
Oh, spoilers? That's what's... Wait a second, you don't have the small plane. The small plane is only able to, what's it called?
Fuel critical.
Oh, shut up. The small plane doesn't have spoilers.
Wait, who did you say that to?
I said that to my, online assistant thing in the game. It's telling me my hydrogen fuel is at critical levels. Or literally at 0. But I'm just like, I don't care. So shut up. Thank you. Anyways. So yeah, spoilers are basically what slowed down your plane.
Oh.
So, well, when you want to land, you want to turn your engines down. You want to put them to reverse thrust. You want to turn your whatever it's called. You want to put your spoilers down so that they can help you slow down, and you want to hit the brakes once you hit the runway. Alright, let's do the... Wait, this one was cleanup, that's right. Alright. Mining, medical, then speed. Oh, there's speed upgrades and power. Wait, what do these do? Upgrades that adds three constructor nanites. Oh, okay.
Wait, you said before I take off, toggle my flaps?
Yes, that means the difference between life and death. Oh, hello, Ice Sleeper. Welcome back. I have taken your advice and I have kept on the mask with face cam. I'm not sure what everybody else thinks of it, but they
What?
other than wanting to see my face, but otherwise I think they're okay with this.
Wait, what?
Don't worry, Ice Sleeper just joined the chat.
I don't really care what you guys say, so you could just say it in front of me. But if it's on stream, I understand that.
Okay, wait, what was this one? This is a medical one. Okay,
I have a cough.
I can hear. Alright, and now we're doing the final one, which is a mining upgrade. Which is a mining nanite factory. How's my day been? It's been okay. I mean, I've been playing games most of the days. I mean, I started off on the NPM server. I then moved over to Space Engineers, and then never got off. So yeah, fun. My sister also has a friend over, so if you hear two girls giggling in the background, that's probably them plotting something. Also, I love what I named this, the save file of this game.
What did you call it?
I know how to play, and then the description says, no, you don't.
That's just a hardcore game right there.
Perfect. It is now all functional. Every single nanite factory is functional. So, to test this out, I'm going to do this. These should not be here. So if I'm correct... What the heck? Did this thing just flip over? So, these things should be deconstructed by the deconstructor. Where are the nanites that are supposed to be doing this? Oh wait, do we not have enough power? Oh no. I don't think we have enough power. Actually, wait, we should. Because the shield's running and everything. Okay, I guess because they were placed by me, they don't register as needing to be deconstructed. So, there. Yeah, how's your day been, Ice Sleeper? Hope it's been pretty good.
Fuel critical.
Oh, shut up. Oh, wait, did it start... Did it start constructing this? No, it didn't.
Oh god. I lost all power of my plane.
You know what? I'm just going to go get the welder. The weld ship. Wee! Oh no! I didn't jump that far. Oh, what?
No
I lost
fuel.
all control of my plane.
What do you mean no fuel? Don't you mean no power?
Ben, I lost all control of my plane.
JC, how did you do that?
No fuel.
I think I did a little too much power.
Fuel critical.
This thing says it doesn't have enough power. Or no fuel.
No
But yet the
fuel.
fuel it uses is literally is just what's it called? Is just power.
Fuel critical.
Okay, you know what? Hydrogen could be useful. Let's see. You know what?
control of my plane again.
JC, why? Why do you do this to everybody who watches this stream?
What?
You go extremely
Meteor
loud.
storm inbound.
Oh, another meteor storm is coming.
Really?
Yeah. I set the difficulty to Armageddon.
Oh, no wonder.
And you can see the meteors hitting the shields.
Oh, I see now.
Oh, jeez.
Those are big meteors.
Those aren't that big of meteors. Especially when you see them up close.
Okay.
Anyways,
How
wait,
big are
what?
how big are the large? Oh, jeez, that's large. Okay.
Yeah, you got the Boeing 747-400. The
How about
second
me?
biggest plane to ever exist.
Ship fuel low.
Wait, what? Many?
What? Alright, let's go
Ship
get to...
fuel low.
Uh-oh. Ship
Ship
fuel.
fuel critical.
I always lose control of my plane right when I start.
Ship fuel low. Ship fuel low.
Come on, so where is it?
Ship fuel low.
Alright,
I'm just gonna wait until I have all the power on.
alright.
Maximum power.
Who else is talking?
gonna
Oh, yes. The other person talking is JC. The idiot of idiots.
I am the master of idiots.
Oh. Yeah, this happens every so often. What? The server host has left the game. I was the server host. What are you talking about? It's like the server host has left the game. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Who's the server host here?
I don't know. You.
Yes. Yes, it's me. I love the
I have
loading
to go
screens though because it
slow
has
if I
these
don't
nice
remember.
pictures of things you can create in game, and then it gives you these quotes from amazing scientists of the past, such as Sir Isaac Newton. An object that is at rest will stay at rest unless an external force acts upon it. Amazing.
Really?
Hello, game, are you there? I don't know if the game's there. I'm sorry, why do I have a 1.8% dropped frame percentage? I'd like to know that, please. Okay. Alright, as we were doing. Woo, okay. Come on. Yeah, I did it. I'm king of the castle. Woo. Alright, you know what? It's time to go on a scouting mission. Ouch. Great, I need to get inside.
Oh god, did I lose control of my plane again?
You probably did. Are you using the big ones?
I'm using the small ones.
The smallest of the ones?
Yes, the really small ones.
Alright. Oh, this thing's on? Okay, 4, 3.
Oh, there you go, there you go, there you go. Okay, okay. Jesus Christ.
This is my scouting vehicle. Small, compact, and I didn't make it. I only repainted it. I am not this good at the game. Alright, let's go to remote control. What do you mean no remote control on grid? Okay, wait. tries jumping up. That won't work. These will, though.
Okay, I finally know the controls.
But do you?
Not really.
That's not going to be helpful. Okay, anyways, I'll do the other one.
Let me casually go through the grass.
Anyways, off to the enemy base.
Wait, enemy base?
Yeah, enemy base. Hold on. There we go. The Space Pirates ore handling facility. This thing is mega fast. That I'm getting a heat warning. Uh-oh. Time to get into some combat. Oh no! I've been hit!
Good job.
No, my favorite vehicle is gone. Oh no. Dang it! You know what? This calls for some revenge. This calls for some major acts of revenge. Alright. Let's see. Ship shield emitter and, oh wait, hold on. And a ship shield controller. There. Alright. Yep, that's the correct way it should be facing. Shield status up. Okay. High reflective.
I am at negative
Visible on
altitude.
Huh?
I am at negative altitude.
Amazing.
No fuel.
What do you mean, no fuel?
Oh god, my plane exploded. Ben, my plane has exploded.
You failed. Oh, okay, so that's where the meteor hit.
Okay,
I thought I heard a
crashed.
meteor hit the base. Before I had shields
Okay,
up.
Ben, I crashed. I finally crashed.
I'm not going to say good job, because that's not a good job.
Because I just killed people.
Honestly, I doubt anybody was even on it. Considering your flying record. Stop killing everybody in a 1,000-foot radius. They haven't got their flu shots.
It's just a cough. I'm not, like, actually sick. It's chicken bugs. Wait, what?
Oh no! Oh no! Oh, what? What do you mean insufficient power? I thought there's enough.
Ben, you said there was enough. You said there was enough power.
I'm in a ship, not my base.
That's why.
You know what? It's time to spawn it in again. The unmodified version. What?
Nani? I think I got you a copy strike, buddy.
Inred, 94. 4. Alright, time to put some ammo in this Gatling gun here.
Wait, Gatling gun?
Yep.
You have a minigun?
Yeah, I've got a Gatling gun on the side of my vehicle here. This thing is so fast! Oh no, it's coming after me. How does it know I'm here? Oh, I just realized how. Did I take out its Gatling gun?
Oh god.
I did! I did! I took out its Gatling gun! It is no longer a threat!
Oh, why did it only reload a single bullet? Come on.
What are you talking about, JC?
I'm playing a game, that's what I'm doing.
Oh wait, I should go for my body first.
No, I'll go to the
Okay, where did I die?
Ah. Oh, that's the MAC-10, no wonder. Jesus Christ, that thing shoots fast. Ah, come on. Oh, hit marker no register. Oh, come on.
Oh boy, what are you playing?
Game? I'm telling you.
Is it Shell Shock?
Nope. It's Minecraft.
Hmm.
I'm playing those military. It's, how do I explain it?
Alright, I'm coming up to the military base. I'm going really fast and there are many trees. There's something shooting at me. I've been hit. Oh no, it's the singing advisory. Stinging advisory. What is it called? What is it called? 40. Yeah.
What is that guy doing right there?
Is it 45 millimeter? It is.
Wait, what happened then?
I'm getting attacked.
Oh, come on, I hit him 2 headshots and he is not dead. Wait, he's changing his Colts for a pistol. A machine gun for a pistol, really.
How many bullets is it going to take?
Why am I trapped? I spawned in a place that you were trapped. So what are you getting attacked by?
Drones. Enemy drones. I'm at an enemy, ore processing facility. So, it kind of makes sense.
Defense system. Oh! Ah, come on, I hit him with my shotgun.
Ah, they hit me.
Wait, how much money is that game? Space Engine?
I'm not sure. I can't remember because I can't remember. You can find it on Steam though. That's all I know. Okay, you know what?
Ah, why am I always getting left alone?
I don't know. Why are you?
Dude, I really need. Dude, I really need that.
Oh my gosh! It's oh my gosh! Oh, you know what? This'll be fun to watch.
What?
They are my nanite factories are slowly building up a ship of mine.
You're nanites?
Yeah. Oh, good night, Ice Sleeper. See you. Probably not tomorrow. I don't know if I'll stream tomorrow. You know what? Let's give it a hand.
Oh, we traded. Come on. Jesus Christ, I killed like 2 people before I died.
Good job. Build. Build the thing up. Oh geez, you know what? I'll just let the nanites do their thing. Because I don't know how to do this. Why is interior light 40 highlighted?
How did I get killed?
Let me turn off interior light 40. Interior light 40. Show blah on HUD. There we go. What do you mean?
We traded again. God.
Okay, it's gone.
Now there's people spawn camping. Dude, he took away half of my health.
Why can't I lift? Oh, that's why. Why can I still not lift? Okay, it's just very slow. Why is it so slow? No, no, no. Oh, come on. You know what? Alright, now this thing should slowly be deconstructed. Dang it, it's blocking the stairwell!
Calm down, won't you?
Here. There. Now the entire thing should slowly be destroyed. Why isn't anything happening? Wait. Is it on? Come on, it has to be on.
Oh yeah, did you see the new update that Blackhawk did?
No, wait, no.
No, it was a while ago. It was probably like a couple weeks, probably
Huh.
like two. Probably it was like a couple weeks ago.
Huh. Yeah, I have not seen it at all.
So they went from 200 players playing to like 1.7 thousand players playing now.
Okay.
That's a huge difference, man.
Yeah, I know. These things should start cleaning everything up.
Alrighty.
This is being deconstructed, correct? Why isn't it being deconstructed?
Because you.
You know what? Delete that. Still not enough power to lift. Oh no. What's going on? Why am I, what? What is going on? There, come on. That must be enough. It's still not enough. Wait a second. Oh, I think I know what's going on. I've got to edit the settings of the deconstruction thing. Clean up, so this is deconstruction. Got it.
Ah, come on, it didn't want me to jump. There goes Ben.
What? Yeah. That's making a lot of noise. You know what? I don't like that.
Poor guy. He fell.
There we go. How is it? Oh, there's a battery, isn't there? Where is this battery? Must destroy battery.
Space engineer is $13.99.
I found the battery.
Oh, insane one. Oh god. Oh, we get
Oh my gosh, why is there another? Oh my gosh, there's more batteries! Alright. Drop, 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 drop.
one is dead. Oh, they're gonna die either way.
Okay, now we start taking this apart. We drop those. And now this thing can't do anything, haha. How far in construction is that? Oh geez.
Oh yeah, it's this. Okay, yeah, I remember. This one was actually easy.
Huh.
Sink. Oh, the ship one. Oh, it had to be the sinking ship.
Alright, you know what? Just because I can't create anything for the life of me, let's find something good to spawn in.
Oh god, it turned acidic. Bro, hurry! You know what? Never mind. We're gonna die either way.
Alright, so
That one guy got us killed. Jesus. Oh, the sci-fi.
1, 2, 3, 4. So
Oh, come on. Ah, come on, man. Everybody just died. Yeah, everybody just died. Jesus. Ah, the firefighter.
Gatling gun. Let's see.
Oh god, I already turned into lava.
Gatling gun 1. Gatling gun 4. Where's the last one? Gatling gun 3. There it is. So each of these looks like it can hold 4, and there's 4 of them. So
Ah.
okay.
Ah, it didn't let me jump. And apparently I'm not earning points.
Alright, well, off I go. Time to take down the enemy. Woohoo! Alright. Okay, let's see. Are any of them coming near towards me? Yep.
Ah, bro, they didn't press the button 2 more times.
What? Wait.
No! Dude, that one's so hard. I wonder who's alive. Oh, just him? Oh, God.
Got it.
Better not put pro lock. Okay.
Oh no. Oh geez. I was off. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! I'm getting hit. I got 1 missile left. Okay, never mind. I'm just ramming it. Ugh.
It's gonna fall on us. Oh god, it's there. Oh, it turned into lava. Oh god, oh god.
I don't know what to do because they don't have guns. Well, what do you do when you don't have thrusters?
Die. The crystal cave, man. 300K.
Yeah! Mmm. I'm smelling victory here. This rocket launcher took me out. Look who's laughing now.
You?
Yeah, sure, yeah. Yeah, let's go with that.
What were you saying right now? you got invaded, mate.
Alright, you know what? I'm going to not take over the space, and instead I'm going to let it fall.
Oh, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna drown. Or maybe not. Oh, God. Sci-fi force.
This is going to be the most satisfying thing ever. My inventory is filling up very fast. Oh, there it goes! Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. Oh! Oh! That scared me. Holy cow, that scared me. Okay, so looks like one of the turrets is still functional. Is it been destroyed at all? No, it hasn't.
Mysterium.
What? No. F5. Quick save. Quick load. Whoops.
Good.
Alright, come on. I accidentally deleted my entire base.
Really?
Yeah.
You can't get it back?
No, I can. That's what I'm doing right now. F5 means quick load, and when you press it, you can reload back to the last save point. Thank goodness that exists. Otherwise, I would have been screwed there. Or I could have just taken over the enemy base. I remember seeing it say quick save at one point, but I can't remember when that happened. Oh, it was during this. It was while I was making the base fall. Hey, dude, if you want to see something satisfying, you might want to watch my stream.
What?
If you want to see something satisfying, it's good and a good idea to watch my stream.
Is it a song?
Just watch, you'll see it.
I just took a peek at it. It's a song.
Yeah, not anymore. Yes! Fall! Satisfying.
Oh no.
Oh wait, there's not
I
a
fell
window.
in. I fell in. I'm dead.
Alright, let's drop all of those. Spawn in my quick, my speeder so I can get back home. And then we'll be good.
And that's a normal, really?
Oh gee! Went too fast. Got too close to the ground. Yeah. Fun. Oh jeez. Cute. Alright, let's go. Alright, I'm getting near base. The heat is rising. Uh-oh. Wait, where is it? Where's base? Oh, okay, yeah, you don't see. Oh, okay, there it is. Wee! Oh no! Whoa! Ah, not again. Okay, yep. You know what? Just because, why not? Oh, come on! I was sure that would blow it up. You know what? Apparently I need to go further away. There we go. Oh hey, look, an ice lake.
Wait, an ice lake?
Or just a lake. Because there is no water in this game, only ice.
How do you know?
Because not the game developers have announced it. You know what? I'm not even going to explain it because no matter how much I explain it, you're not going to believe me. You're just going to ask that question. Oh no, where are you going? Oh my gosh, this is great. Oh my god. Wait, where are you going? Wait, where are you going? Get in the seat. Okay, I'm in the seat. This is going as fast as running speed. Surprising. Alright, this looks like it's coming along well. Okay, it deleted the correct thing this time. Alright.
Noise.
So here, the Tempest can go. There it is. Alright, where is it? Port, the port. Okay, not there. Not there. Where is it, huh?
Where is what?
I'm looking for where I can use the connection port. Oh, wait. Oh. Oh. Is it seriously that? No, no, it's not. That was landing gear. Alright. Let's see, where is it? Connector. On. On. Okay, which one of these is on? Unlock. What the heck? Why can't I move? What did I do? What is going on with this thing? Okay, you know what?
Nice.
What does that? Which one? What do I do? It's not. It won't tell me anything. 9, 5. No. What? Connector. Lock. There we go. Alright, over here can be the wyvern, sure. Oh geez, okay. Where's its connect? Oh,
Everybody
that's
died.
a
God
weird
damn.
connection port. Okay. What then? I'm just going to put the final space shuttle there. Okay, that's huge. Far too big. Okay, never mind. Let's just get the speeder out and let's go scout. Oh wait a second, hold on. These trees have physics. They get quite
Wait, what?
annoying.
The physics of trees? Oh,
Oh geez, what's going on? Oh wait, I just realized what's going on. Now we wait a moment as the game loads and doesn't hopefully crash. Why are we going backwards? Dang it, trees, why do you have so much power? I don't care about my heat levels. This thing's meant to be fast. Okay, we're good.
is it bad if heat levels go too high?
Yeah, because things start getting destroyed. Yes,
There goes that guy.
the toppled base.
There he goes. There he goes. Oh god. You can make it. Oh, there goes that other dude.
Alright, now time to set this up. Now, because this technically isn't a functioning base, I get my nanites out, and deconstruction shall happen.
Damn, that instant kills.
Alright, now where's the speed upgrade? There it is. What was the other upgrade? Power reduction. Not really needed. Okay. Now I need some sort of power source. You know what? Reactors will just... a reactor would work just fine. Hopefully it can produce enough power.
Oh god, there she low. You should have stayed on there, buddy.
Alright. And... Boo, bro, what? This mineshaft is so plentiful. What, are you on like the NPM server right now? No, you're not. 19 diamonds and 2 stacks of iron. Nice. Okay. This is... Now we just gotta wait for this to fully power up. Then it can start the, decontamination process, as I'm going to call it, because... SCP. Ouch. Ouch, yeah, that thing hurts me. Oh, come on. Start! Start up already. Why aren't you starting? Friend server, nice. Oh no. Oh no! Oh! So this is what remains of the stinging advisory. Nice. You know what? Then I also need this, and... What else do I need? Where is it? Here it is. Alright, large cargo container. There we go. Move that to the cargo container. So, why hasn't this thing started up? I thought I set it to do something, but I guess not. What are you doing? Clean up and deconstruction. Why aren't you doing anything else?
Maybe our cliffside. Oh, it's this map.
You know what? Maybe it does need more power to function well. Or at least function.
Oh, come on. Why doesn't it want to work?
There. That should be plenty of power. Now freaking work. Why? Oh, there we go. Nanites are working. They'll start cleaning up everything in the vicinity. And just so when I know we're ready, where are they? Where is it? There it is, landing leg. Or landing gear.
Meteor storm inbound.
Fire.
Oh, meteor storm inbound, great.
Right when I said ready, set fire.
Alright, where are the meteors? Oh, there they are. They're not close, we're good.
Oh, come on. Come on. Come on.
Yeah, we're perfectly safe.
Come on. Bro, come on.
Alright, it's deconstructing everything around it. That's fine.
You know, I'll go play some Minecraft. Oh, yeah, by the way, Ben, I need some of your help.
With what?
So, you know Ragnamon V or 5 or whatever?
Yeah.
I can't uninstall it.
Good job, you failed at life.
No, it says when I try uninstalling it, it says files are locked. Cannot delete.
Well, I am unable to help you with something like that. I'm not sure how to fix it.
Inventory full.
Okay, inventory full. Let's go deposit all this. Oh my god, this is gonna be hilarious. What if? No, that's no. Yeah! Oh, ouch. Why can't I get up? You know what, nanites? How much longer until you're done doing your thing? Oof, it's a destroyed part of my old craft. The one I used to destroy this base. That was fun. Okay, we're on top. Good. Oh,
What? Huh?
okay. You know what? Might as well just drill in. Oh.
Inventory full.
Oh! Okay, we're good. There we go. So what is it currently deconstructing? That's what I want to know.
Low health.
Okay, that really hurt. Oh, another meteor storm is inbound.
Meteor storm inbound.
Wait, what? They're going over here. What's over here? I can't stop. Oh, hey. Oh, that's what's over here. Why can't I stop?
Low health.
Oh. Oh, okay. That's really close. So it's deconstructing this over here. Got it. I'll help. Oh, hey, that's what this is.
There. Nice. So that should fix.
This is so much fun to do.
Destroy things with a saw.
Yeah. If you hit a tree with it, it goes flying. Ish, sometimes. Oh, there goes that tree. Bye, tree. Where are you? Wait, tree, where are you going? Tree, you're going really far away.
Yeah, man. That's how we do it in this country.
What?
Nani? I'm not playing Fortnite. Like Trizza.
Alright, there we go. So, this thing's just taking all the scrap from around the area. Got it. So currently, it's in cleanup mode. Soon it'll enter deconstruction mode, and then I get all the resources. Ha ha ha. Oh no! Oh! Okay, we're good. Unknown signal was detected.
Read.
Get in it. Go to the unknown signal.
Wait, Ben, you said you're gonna get your Oculus Quest on February 23, right?
25th, yeah.
Oh, close enough. Dude, Oculus Quest ran out so fast.
Yeah, it's because it's the first 6 DOF wireless headset.
I mean, at the same time that, but like, it sold out fast, like fast.
Yeah, that's the reason why, and it was one of the cheapest headsets ever. That has 6 DOF, I should mention. Wait, am I going down? Oh no, I'm going down. Okay.
Are you gonna try out Pavlov VR?
I'm not sure yet. I
Because
still.
because Pavlov VR is CS:GO but in VR.
Yeah, I know.
It's pretty cool. How about VR chat?
A VR chat. Probably not.
Why not? Too much chaos?
Yeah. Alright, this thing's coming down slowly. Up there is the base that I'm taking over.
Okay, new world.
Okay, where's the button? Is that the button, or what is this? Oh, it is. Oh, what's... Oh, hey, I got a rainbow suit. I can look very snazzy now. Wait. I want to be raised... Wait, what's the SVRT, huh? Huh? What's the SVRT? Factions. SVRT.
Oh yeah, what is? Okay, so on Instagram, you know, you don't really look through Instagram that much anymore.
Yeah.
But in Instagram, there's a hashtag of for the Oculus Quest. There was a post that I saw on the hashtag. It said VR boxing might be more aggressive than real boxing. And I have to agree with that. There was like a guy using the headset, and he was going aggressive, like really aggressive.
Alright, I'm going over 90 degrees up this mountain. And I made it to the top. Oh, jeez. Okay, we're good.
I am playing some Minecraft single player.
Nice. Okay, come on. What are you doing now? Are you deconstructing finally? Okay, they're going over here. What's over here? Oh. Oh, scrap. There's scrap there. Okay. There. Take your scrap. Oh, what are they going for now? Oh, more scrap.
By the way, Ben, did you know the story of Minecraft is really twisted?
What are you talking about? The story of how it was created, or the story, in-game lore?
The in-game storyline type of thing.
Yeah. Have you been watching Game Theory?
No, it's just because I already knew this stuff. Like, at the same time, I also watched Game Theory. He's the best. Nice.
Nobody's going to believe you came up with this on your own because of the fact that Game Theory is doing something on this right now.
But, like, it's so weird. You're the only human on this planet or something in this dimension. It's so weird.
Yeah, I definitely know you didn't come up with that theory on your own. You probably watched some YouTube video years ago.
No. There was some stuff I didn't know before I started watching those type of videos.
Anyways, let's put all of this in here.
What were you talking about?
What? What do you mean?
About you deconstructing or something?
Oh yeah, so you know how I just attacked a one of the enemy bases, right?
Yep.
And you know how I literally made it topple.
Yeah.
Well, I now set up a nanite factory that will is supposed to deconstruct the entire facility, and so I have all the supplies from it. However, it's currently only picking up the scrap stuff around it. So it'll be a while until deconstruction starts on it.
Oh, so they're clearing stuff up first.
Yeah, they're clearing stuff up, so I have tons of materials.
Oh, okay, that's unfortunate for you.
What do you mean, unfortunate for me?
Never mind.
This is actually really good for me because I'm getting tons of materials from without even having to pay for them. I wonder how far I'll go down this hill if I jump.
I just heard skeleton, mate. Where are you? Where are you, Mr. Skeleton? What difficulty do I have it on? Okay,
Oh geez, what did I just do? I opened up the Discord overlay. Got it.
what? Wait, what happened?
I accidentally opened up the Discord overlay in my game.
Oh.
Burning wreckage. Don't you just love to see it?
So, about the affiliate thing. What do you need for the... For
3
being
average
affiliate?
viewers in a month.
3 average viewers in a month.
Yes, and I'm just over 2 currently. Or maybe. Hold on, let me go check. Okay.
If you're an affiliate, shouldn't they like send you an email or something?
Yeah, they'll send me an email once I become affiliate, but I still need more viewers to do that.
How much?
3 average viewers in an hour. In a month.
No,
Sorry, not in an
no,
hour.
how much more do you need?
I'm checking that right now. Achievements. There we go. I'm currently at 1.63, so I'm just over halfway.
Okay, 1.63.
And that has taken me quite a lot in time to get to. Over half a year.
Hey, okay, you seen those streamers, those popular streamers?
Uh-huh.
They had to go through years before they got into that position, mate.
Hey, dude, you want to know
What?
something?
Nani?
One of the, what I found a Twitch user who was a Twitch streamer once, who had less followers than me. The next stream he goes, the next day, he has more followers
Meteor
than me.
storm inbound.
He was at 89, around 89 when I found him the day before. Now he's at 146 or something. And he got affiliate by the time I found him, so...
He probably got raided or something, I don't know. What do you think?
From what I can tell, he hasn't said anything about him getting raided, but... Who knows? Who knows? And here's the thing, JC. For me to get affiliate quicker, I need more viewers. So, like currently, I am not near it because I've only got around a stream average of 1. Currently, I've got 2, so thankfully it is going up a little, but not by much.
Okay, here's a funny thing. Right now, I have I have 394 views, which is
Nice.
which is pretty interesting. 394 views, but only 14 followers, which is interesting.
Yeah. Here's something more interesting. I've got 1,425 views. And only around 122 followers. 124 followers. Also, yesterday, Brett Du Bois followed me. It never popped up on my stream. I never heard the notification, so if he's
Wait, what?
watching, if you're watching right now, sorry I missed it. I didn't realize that I didn't see it until after I stopped streaming.
Until you stop streaming.
Yeah.
Dude, I checked my my stream activity even though there's no notification or anything. Because you know how those notifications do you.
Jellius? What do you mean, random person?
Jealous.
Jellius.
Jealous, you mean?
Jellius. It's Jello plus jealous. Jellius.
The jelliest queen.
Would you
that
like
was a
some
dumb joke.
jellius, my queen?
Okay, that was a dumb joke. I'm sorry.
Do you know the way?
Okay, goodbye, Ben. Good night.
I bring back an old meme. He leaves immediately. Okay, I can collect scrap now that it's day. I can see more of it. It's going through the hill. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh! Ouch!
Oh yeah, by the way, I know how to make servers of mine public.
What do you mean servers of yours public?
Like I know how to make a server.
What type of server? Discord, Minecraft, Roblox?
Minecraft.
Oh, cool. Let's see, how do you do it? Because I've already got a server.
Well, it's a little hard to explain, but
Do you
if
use
let me
Hamachi?
ex- Huh?
Do you use Hamachi?
Hamachi?
Yeah.
Which one is that?
Hamachi login, the one, that little thing you download. It's actually where I met one of my online friends.
Interesting.
Wait, actually, hold on. Wait, hold on. Yeah, it's where I met VX.
Wait, what?
VX, the one
Oh.
who has broken rules on my server, and I've just given them the Euclid role.
Oh,
Yeah, I met him playing on multiplayer mod for Subnautica.
multiplayer mod Subnautica.
Yeah.
There's a mod for Subnautica like that?
Yeah, there's tons. That's just one of them, though. So, I actually met him on there because we were both playing Subnautica. Subnautica.
Wait, what did you just say?
I'm summoning a demon. Be quiet.
No, but what was that language you were saying?
Subnautica. I'm gonna help it clean up a little more. Oh, more scrap. Let's see. Is there any more scrap around here? Oof. So here's a question. Have you ever watched Soviet Womble?
Soviet Womble.
Yes.
Why does that sound familiar?
He is the most hilarious YouTuber ever that has great great editing skills, however, doesn't upload that often. But yet he has 3.84 million subscribers just because of those first two things. Also, he streams on Twitch, I believe. Alright, I'm going for the unknown signal. 2 kilometers out. 2.5, 2.4, 2.3, 2.2, 2.1. Alright, 1.9, 1.8. I'm almost there. The heat level has started appearing on my screen, which means it is getting hot. And oh, I saw it. I saw the package. Where is it? Unknown signal. Ugh. Why does this thing doesn't have landing legs? I forgot. I hit it. I'm falling. Falling. Okay, I'm not falling. I just abuse these care packages. I see them and I just ram into them. Did you know I met my first Twitch follower on Roblox? We were friends before that. Before I even started streaming. I am abusing this care package. Don't mind me. What's going on? I'm abusing a care package. Don't mind me. Get onto the ground! Ugh! Why are you so slow? Oh, come on! Oh! Uh-oh. Great. No, where are you going? No, you're not supposed to be going down the mountain. Okay. Oh, no, I'm not supposed to be going down the mountain. It's been a while since I've been on this channel. Oh yeah, I'm kind of remembering you now. Welcome back, friend. Don't mind the, issues that I'm currently having. This happens every so often when I play this game. Oh, okay, we're good. Ooh, give me a special item. Aww. Oh, come on. I didn't get a special item. Well, you know what that means. Oop, wait, did it start the countdown? I think it started the countdown, I don't know though. Did it? I don't think it did, huh? Oh yeah, it needs power. Battery! I need a battery, battery there. Okay, it started. Boom! Yay! Oh, that's who you were. Oh, okay, yeah, now I remember. Now I remember very clearly. What the? Wait, what was in that? Oh, hey, I just got an enhanced grinder. Epic. Alright. Ore handling facility, that's where I want to be. Time to get back over there. Ooh. Oh, come on. Okay. Oh, come on. Hours later. Alright, see ya, man. You enjoy yourself. Woo. Okay. To the ore processing facility. Haha. My question is, why did the space pirates build their ore processing facility on top of a mountain? I'm falling, and I'm falling fast. The heat level's going up at a constant rate. I'm about to hit the side of a mountain. Oh! Oh no! There goes the front of it. Hey. Hey, I'm still hovering. Does that count for anything? Whoops. That wasn't meant to happen. Well, respawn. My epic base. It looks epic. Alright. Do the ore processing facility. We're reaching maximum velocity. Da 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 da. Oh jeez. I just hit a few trees. Hey JC, are you still there? Okay, JC's gone.
What happened?
Don't worry about it. Oh hey, there's my body. Epic. Okay. Oh jeez, okay, we're good.
Meteor storm inbound.
Another meteor storm? Come on. You know what? I'm gonna be stupid and ram this. Oh wait, I know what this is. Oh hey, look, meteors. Yeah, this is average day. I actually turned the settings to Armageddon, which means the meteor storms happen quite often.
Okay, that's how you do it. Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry. Why aren't you doing your job of deconstruction?
So
Oh, they need to have a deconstruction beacon on them? What's a deconstruction beacon? Oh, nanite. Neonite beacon, deconstruct. Got it. Got it. So they were literally just on cleanup. Okay. Now they'll be on deconstruction duty.
okay, now I see how to do that.
Alright, the deconstruction beacons are up. Hopefully everything starts getting deconstructed. That's the hope, anyways. Yeah, let's see. Oh, this one already has the deconstruction beacon on it. That's cool. Button panel. Here. Epic. Alright. So, what are you currently deconstructing? What? Oh, you're deconstructing that. Okay. Alright. Alright, everything's being deconstructed now. Oh, jeez! That's a large... Oh my gosh! That is a huge swarm of everything. Okay, yeah, that is insane. Alright, hold on. Ugh.
I see how I can make a server now.
What?
Nani? You have been rickrolled.
Uno reverse card.
No, you.
+4.
Ah, you caught me there.
Haha, you don't have a +4 to stack on top, do you?
I have a +10.
That isn't a card. Alright, so Nanite Factory is now doing its job. That's good.
I'm making myself a hut.
Okay, I think this thing needs a battery. Battery. There we go.
Okay. I know how to make a server now. Oh, that's...
What is it deconstructing, anyways? Oh, is it deconstructing these panels? Ugh.
There you go. And then...
Is it deconstructing this thing right here? Oh! Oh no! It was deconstructing what was underneath me! Okay.
You're lucky you didn't die.
Yeah. Say again. Say that one more time!
Me? Wait, me?
Yes, you, because guess what just happened?
You died.
Yeah, I died from fall damage.
No.
From a height I shouldn't have died from.
And what is that height?
Height of... I am not sure, but it's... height that shouldn't have killed me, just, did damage.
Were you low health?
No, I wasn't.
Glitchy game, am I right?
Yeah. Windows have been always very glitchy.
No duds, Windows.
I'm sorry, what are these nanites doing?
What are they doing?
Oh my gosh, I've got a following. Oh, never mind. Oh, that's what they were doing. I'm getting damage because of my heat level.
Oh, so you were low health already, right?
No. I've already respawned, dude.
Yeah. No. I'm
Okay,
talking about
that I
the-
understand how that killed me. Yeah, that one made sense.
So you had lower health before you died from the fall.
No, I didn't. I didn't take any damage from the original fall. Oh, jeez, tree! That was a tree! What the heck?
There.
Oh, my seat's been damaged. Ah.
By the way, Ben, I know how to make a Minecraft server now.
Okay, how do you make it?
So, it's okay. Apparently, you go to Minecraft's website and apparently...
Wait, hold on. Minecraft Bedrock or Minecraft Java?
No, I'm saying Minecraft website. I'm desktop Java edition.
Alright, keep explaining.
Okay, so apparently, before you download, I can't really explain it well without showing it to you.
Alrighty then.
But, if you're gonna download the Java edition for Windows, you have
Meteor
to
storm
go to
inbound.
Minecraft.net/n/download. And if you go all the way to the bottom, there's
Hold on, dude. I just crashed myself again. Yay! Alright,
okay,
now...
did you die?
Yeah, I died.
Okay. So apparently, if you go all the way down of the download, there's the server software, which is interesting. I can't really explain it to you if I don't show it to you. So
Alright. Let's see, I need a deconstruction beacon. There. Deconstruct this thing. Oh, okay. Whoops.
oh, I think I can show you now. I'm able to stream it. I'm pretty sure.
Well, I'm not looking. I'm playing a game, streaming.
No, streaming it on Discord.
I know. I'm looking at a game, streaming.
Okay, tell me when you're ready. I want to show you.
I am Omega Fast. You can't stop me. Nothing can. Ha 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 ha. Oh boy, another unknown signal. Fantastic.
That was a
Oh, it just deconstructed that. Okay.
Time to mine out the key. But yeah, it's for but it's for Java edition apparently.
It's for Java edition. All right.
Java, yeah.
Mhm.
I looked at a video at it, and then it seems actually pretty simple to set up.
All right.
It's like it's a bit of a little tutorial.
All right. Where are my items? Where's my body? Where'd my body go? Where did I die? I died down here, right?
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ, you have a big ship.
What do you mean
your ship you crashed.
Yeah, this isn't a ship. This is a mining, an enemy mining base that I have, or processing base that I have, taken over. The
Oh,
ship I crashed is yay big.
didn't you say it was like the size of a football field?
No, I never said anything like that. Hold on. Alright, I'm putting back on my Plague Doctor mask so I can turn back on my webcam. Alright, and...
Wait, your webcam was always on.
Huh?
Your webcam was always on.
No, it wasn't. I can see.
Ha.
Alright, let's go go to the unknown signal. Yahoo! Whoa.
But yeah, I'm able to show you actually how you could get like the server software basically.
Alright, hold on. Hey, I think I've already got that? No, I've got something else, Badger. Okay, just so these things don't lag up my game. There we go.
Wait, what happened?
I got a new a new item accessory for space engineers. I can customize myself even more than I could before.
Interesting. I guess.
Alright. Woo! Okay. And you know what? Just to show it off, I'm going to get a survival kit. A medical room, that's it. Okay.
You know what? I'm gonna make this my mine shaft. This tiny little cave that has no cave entry.
Oh my god! Oh yes, that is great. Okay, you know what? Here, let's just set a platform up right here. Okay, 6. Here, I can show off my new cosmetics now. What the heck? Oh my gosh. Yes, it's a rainbow suit.
Wait, what?
I've got a rainbow suit. Okay, helmet, none. Suits, rainbow, yes. Gloves, I've got Badger
Ultimate
or
Pride.
Badger. Oh, I've got 2 Badger gloves. Yeah, I thought
That's
so.
the ultimate pride suit I ever seen.
Okay, you know what? Recycle for 1 token. Yes, please. Boots. I can have cowboy boots or Badger boots. I'm sticking with my
Ben,
cowboy boots.
Ben,
I got recycle token. Visit a medical room to
Hey,
change your
Ben.
appearance. What? What does the recycle token do? Tools. Oh my gosh!
Ben.
I have a rainbow grinder!
Ben,
What?
Ben. That's the most pride thing I ever seen.
Rainbow!
Support the gays.
Exactly. I have nothing against the LGBTQ plus community. Except apparently the pedophiles that are trying to become pedosexuals in it.
Oh yeah, let's not go into detail about that one, okay?
Oh,
Let's
come
just-
on! How did that kill me?
Wait, what?
I am dead. Not big surprise.
Oh, oh god. What is the gravity on that planet?
Same as here on Earth. But for whatever reason,
How is that?
it decides that I should die from that distance. Even though
Yeah.
from the same distance at my normal base, I'm perfectly fine. I just take like a 1% HP of damage, so...
That's kind of high. A little bit.
Heat level 300 and rising. 400 and rising. Heat warning 500 and rising.
Oh yeah, by the way, Ben, I managed to break another of my Discord servers.
Oh my gosh, stop breaking them.
What? It's my legal property.
I don't care. You're probably screwing something up with Discord. The actual people who made it.
No, I'm just crashing my stuff.
Just because it's your server doesn't mean something's happening on another actual server.
So you're saying I am attacking the person?
Yeah, what I'm saying is you're probably doing something that's causing more damage than you realize.
Most likely. Ow. A 3-block fall managed to take half of my life.
On Java Edition?
Yep.
That's not right. That should be a 4-block job.
No, half of my heart's all over.
Okay, I actually survived this time.
Oh, did you?
Health critical.
Ouch. My health is critical again.
Why?
Don't ask.
I'm asking now.
You just made a grave mistake. You are now dead.
Oh, did you just die?
No, I haven't died.
Almost?
No, but yes, almost. I got to 7 HP because of a freaking fall.
Like a meter fall? Like a 3-foot fall?
No, much longer. A much higher fall than that. Yes! My outfit is beautiful!
This is one of the worst huts I ever built.
Wait, didn't I? Wait. Oh my gosh! Yes, the grinder is even better!
Wait, what? Let me look at it. Oh my god, that is actually pretty. I'm
And
not
like,
gonna lie,
the
that
cow
actually-
drill.
I'm not gonna lie, that actually looks pretty cool.
Yeah, and this is called the cow drill now.
You called it the cow drill.
Alright, time to start drilling through the planet. See you in a few years. I can't hear you. Hold on.
Is it that loud?
Lights on. Keep going. Woohoo! Alright, how far down could I go? I can't see daylight anymore.
Jesus Christ, how far did you go?
Oh, hey, I can see a little daylight. Oh, the giant storage bin is what's blocking all the daylight.
A giant storage bin, you say?
Yeah, it's a giant storage bin. That's what's holding everything the nanite factory is going to collect from the giant base that I destroyed. Alright, let's go back down. There was an unknown signal. I must get more stuff.
Most likely gonna die, but okay.
Unknown signal. Go! These unknown signals are what give me my epic items, such as my rainbow tool, my rainbow grinder, and suit. So these things are pretty epic.
After you're done with the unknown signal, can I show you where to get the server software?
Sure. Just give me a moment. I must hit it. I must kick it.
Oh, 10. Okay, 10 stairs. That's more than. Ah!
Oh, there it is.
There's
Going
another
for
half
it.
of all my hearts.
I'm watching it slowly fall.
No, I'm missing only one piece. One stair. Just a single one. To complete the house. And I don't have it.
I'm bringing it down faster than it normally would go. Perfect.
That's your ship?
Yep, this little thing's my ship.
That's pretty
Press the
small.
button.
That's a pretty small ship. I'm gonna just buy it. Oh, you know what would have been cool? That there. Mates. You okay?
No, it gave me nothing. So now, I must do the only reasonable thing and blow it up.
Doesn't that waste anything or something?
Nope.
Makes sense.
Oh no! Get it! Wait! Oh no! There's a warhead! Oh no!
Wait, what?
Bye, ship.
You put a warhead in that?
I didn't just put one.
You put like 5?
I put like 50.
Oh. It made a pretty big hole.
Yeah, this is a nice crater, isn't it?
Yep.
Alright, let me go up to the facility, the mining facility that I've taken over. Where is it? Wait, where did it go? It's over here, right? It should be over here. Wait. Oh, yep, I see it now. Let me just get over there, and then you can show me.
Okay, because if you want to make the Java server, or Java server, for when you get affiliate,
Yeah.
I think you might be able to do it. And I'm at here lava.
Alright.
Andesite, what is it? Andesite?
Now let me go to Discord. Okay. Show your thing. Or else die.
Okay, so you want me to show it to you now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm gonna go live. Right there. I should be live now. So right here, I got it from which one? This one right here. I'll send it to you. Why not?
Okay.
Hold on.
You don't send don't send it to me right now.
I remember this video.
I never watched it.
Obviously. So what you do is just go to the Minecraft website or something. Just put up Minecraft.
Yep.
So it makes you sign in. You just have to put, go to the URL, put download, and right here. And if you go all the way down, here's the 2 server softwares.
Oh, that's exactly what the one looks like for that I use for the Bedrock server. That's exactly
really?
what it looks like for what I did.
did you use the Minecraft server software instead of the Java edition?
Yeah, I used the Bedrock edition for a type of the software instead. Ouch! Why does that hurt me so much? Is it because we're on a hill? What is this glitchery? What is this? Anyways, what is it currently deconstructing? Oh, jeez. Okay. Wait, hold on. Oh, it's deconstructing this pillar, huh? At least that's what it looks like. Yay, I'm getting healed. Anyways, where was I? Oh yes, digging a giant hole to the center of the earth. Oh jeez, found it. Whoa! I can't hear you. I'm going down.
Then why? How did it say that?
Because I can hear very little. I can hear something, but nothing. I could also hear you somehow. Don't ask questions before I don't understand. Whoa! I see your name lighting up, but I can't hear you. Okay, what?
So you said you got the Bedrock edition thing. What isn't that just the Minecraft server software instead of the Java edition software?
Yeah, it's that, but for Bedrock, of course. Alright, I'm going back down.
Okay, I see. For is right here, it says set up your own Minecraft Java edition server at home. It's a bit tricky, but you can do it. Set up your own server for Minecraft, just in general, I'm guessing. At home takes a little time, but totally worth
The
it.
Bedrock edition is so easy to set up.
But the Java edition just takes a little time. It's because I have that video at the same time.
Alright. Anyways, time to make something stupid.
So first is download text file.
Okay. Oh wait, that's not a battery. Hold on. Oh, no. Battery, okay. Now, where's the drill head? Drill. Where is it? Here it is. Grinder drill. Fudge, I need to make more space for it.
College diorite.
Can I make it now? Can I place it down? Ah. Come on.
Pine forest. I don't want to go into pine forest.
Let me.
Yeah. I am lost now. I lost track of my house.
Good job, you failed.
Oh, there it is.
Alrighty. Now to just charge up the battery. Hopefully that's not too hard. Where are the electricity parts? Here, no, that's a battery. Solar panel, there we go. Actually, wait, no, wind turbine, that works better.
Oh, finally. I finally have andesite, what I just wanted for my floor.
Alright. There. Oh, no. Okay, I got it. Okay. How fast will this battery charge? It's not charging very fast. That's upsetting. There. Jeez, it's making a hole. And now we wait. Oh, hey, look, I'm up to 3 viewers. Okay, looks like it's charging, but I don't know. So, wait, is it destroying this currently? Is it destroying the, giant... this? Oh, geez, that's filled with a lot of stuff. Alright. I'm about to release the drill. Are you ready for this? The drill has been released. And now we go down with it. I have made a drill that will automatically drill to the center of the planet. Until it runs out of battery power, at least. Alright, you know what?
So when do you want me to send the video to you about the job?
Probably after I finish my stream up.
So you could take a look at it or something?
Yeah. Alright, dude, I've made a drill that will automatically drill to the center of the planet forever.
Before you die?
I'll probably die multiple times before that, but it'll slowly drill there. Don't mind me as I slowly go down. You know
Wait,
what?
I forgot. Your stream is gonna end like about in 15 minutes, right? Or something?
I'm not sure. I'll go for as long as I can.
Before you get yelled at.
Yeah, basically.
Why?
Why not?
Give it like an extra 15 minutes so you could check out the video or something.
Dude, I'm not doing it on stream.
I know, that's why.
Oh, jeez, there's something in my eye.
Jesus Christ, why did you go that loud? Ow.
Anyways, what was I doing? Yes, I was getting a seat.
There's a hill over there.
Let me place the seat.
Fuel low.
I got it.
Fuel critical.
And now I can ride this thing down to the center of the planet.
I'm getting chased by wolves. Ben, help me.
Fuel critical.
What? What?
I'm getting chased by wolves.
Cool. It's, well, I'm heading off to bed. Good night. Alright, see you, random person. You have a good night. Sleep well. I'm just going to sit here and, slowly go down. Okay, you know what?
Critical.
Let's see. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez, this hole. Oh, boy. Wee. Okay. Hey, dude, you want to know what I'm about to do?
What? I never saw that village there. I never saw it there. Really? Oh, I forgot I'm still streaming.
Yeah,
I can mute him, you know.
you can mute him, but my stream will still hear it.
Okay, I can mute your stream.
Okay, but those who don't mute my stream will still hear it.
Okay. Ow. Oh, wait.
This song is great. You can't deny that.
Oh god, a raid is happening. Oh god.
Good job, you failed.
Yep. A loom off. Oh, they have a sheep in here. The bell. A bell. Yes, please.
You know? Hey, dude, you know?
What?
You know.
Oh yeah, I know.
You know, alright, you know.
Oh.
Alright, time to request again.
What is that? A smoker. What? There's something called a smoker?
Oh yeah, that cooks food twice as fast than a furnace.
Let me try it right now.
I use it to cook my potatoes on the NPM server.
Jeez, that's fast. No, I'll be right back. I need to get tissue.
Is it deconstructing that block? Or this block? I've got a feeling it's deconstructing the block that I am on. Right. Well. Okay, I missed. Okay, there we go. Was it deconstructing this block? I don't know. Oh, how strong is this thing? Oh. Oh, okay. Oh. That's not what's holding this entire thing up.
Okay, I'm back.
But are you?
No.
Amazing. Magic at its
Right?
finest.
Oh, this is Earth on a daily basis. Wow. That guy is the sacred villager.
Alright, you know what? I'm going to turn on invincibility. And I'm going to jump down the
Meteor
hole.
storm inbound.
There is a sacred villager, buddy.
I've gone down the hole with the automatic miner.
Wait, what?
I told you that I made an automatic miner that's going to drill to the center of the earth, right? Oh no. Oh no. Get me out. Okay.
Let me in. Let me in, yeah.
Let me in. Let me in. You do not deserve to be let in. Alright. Let me turn off my invincibility.
Fuel critical.
Where's the meteor shower? Did I miss it? Oh. No,
It's
I know.
inside of your dome. Let your ink dry. Really? Do you think I should make this make a Minecraft server right now?
I don't know. Your decision. I'm just going to try and ram the unknown signal here.
Oh, there's
I got it.
Critical.
I got it.
it's a cat. Let
Oh
me
my
kill
gosh,
it.
what's left? What remains? Oh my gosh, the button still remains. Holy cow.
I'm gonna kill a cat. I'm gonna try killing a cat.
Are you that evil?
What?
Are you seriously that evil? Are you going to kill a poor defenseless little kitty cat?
What? It took one heart away from it.
So dude, I hit the freaking, what's it called? Unknown signal. I cut it in half.
What do you mean by you cut it in half?
I literally sliced it in half. And I also lost my little ship in the process. Get down here. I need to see what my new item is. It's now just a floating thing. Oh, 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 oh.
But I found the sacred villager, Ben. The sacred villager all the way on the tippy top of the hill.
Amazing.
Oh, hi, villager.
You will pay for your treachery.
No, you.
It is paying for its treachery. I wonder how many of these I've placed so far.
0.
Alright, I think that's enough. Anyways, there, button panel, there. How many is that? That is 93 of them. Alright, better start running.
What happened? What happened, Ben?
Yes! Yes!
Hey,
It's
what happened?
beautiful.
What happened?
Boom, boom.
What happened?
There's nothing remaining of it.
What happened, Ben?
You have to watch the stream if you want to find out. Haha.
You made a crater?
Yeah, that was the unknown signal, and it gave me nothing. So I destroyed it for its treachery. What just got destroyed? Oh, okay. Nothing important. Got it.
Well, I got a bed. Now time to pick out food.
Okay. Wait, where is it? Oh, it's over here.
Fuel critical.
There we go. Ouch. Okay.
Hey, you know what?
Alright. Get out!
Ben,
Escape!
Ben, you know what?
What?
No. Got him.
I didn't even hear what you said.
Whatever. Let me just put everything I don't need in here, which means everything. I'll keep my broken axe.
Fuel critical.
Wait,
Mm-hmm.
wait, wait, Ben,
What?
is it hard to keep a server running?
Depends on what type of computer you have. Like what graphics card you have, and CPU and everything.
Because I have for the CPU I have a 4X Intel R Core TM whatever i5-6400 CPU. For the CPU apparently. Oh god, that chicken got obliterated. by
Alright,
lava.
so let me think. Java is more demanding than Bedrock in terms of, processing and everything. So, for me, I personally got a GTX 1050 Ti and a, and a, i7. And I barely get any CPU usage when, nobody's on the server, and it can get up to around 15% usage when there's people on the server, but usually not any higher. But Java Edition, how many people do you plan on having play on this server?
I don't know. As much as I can, most likely 0.
Alright, oh, you might as well try. I don't suggest it, but you can try.
But I mean, at the same time, I can always delete the server.
Uh-huh.
Which means deleting the file, right? If I...
Yeah. Down the hole you go!
Which hole?
It's gone.
Oh god. I got a good head start now.
Down the hole you all go.
How much does advertisement cost?
What do you mean advertisement?
Hold on, I'm gonna search that up.
Advertisement where is my question. Because it depends on where you're going to advertise.
A general advertisement.
What, for your server or on your server?
Nah, for some reason I got that. That being said, the average cost of an ad on the Google Ads platform is between $1 and $2 per click. On average, small businesses that Google use Google Ads part of their online advertising strategy end up spending between $9,000 and $10,000 per month for $100,000 to $120,000 per year. That's pretty expensive.
Alright. I don't know what's happening, but I don't know where my auto driller has gone. Don't know how deep the hole is. And I don't plan on finding out anytime soon, so.
Oh god, I almost fell in lava.
Ouch.
You know what? I need to go.
But, oh, geez, wait a second. Hold up. The base moved. I just realized that. The base has moved.
I'm a burn.
What do you mean you're a bird?
No, I said I'm a burn.
Oh, you're burning in lava right now?
Yeah, I just died.
Good job, you failed.
I lost 13 iron ore, mate.
Huh.
Hey, at least I barely had any stuff on me.
You could
Except
make
for-
an iron farm.
How?
They're quite complicated.
Just tell
And
me.
knowing you, you probably aren't going to want to make one just because it'll get boring after a while.
Wait, no, just tell me how.
Search it up. I only know how to make one on the Bedrock edition of Minecraft. And yes, there is a difference between how you make them on the editions. Huge difference. Minecraft Bedrock, they're less efficient but simpler to make. Minecraft Java, they're more complicated but give more output.
Makes sense.
Yes. Alright. I'm gonna have another sip of water.
Oh, okay. I seen this. Okay, you have villagers, and they spawn in iron golems,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to kill the iron golems with lava, and you.
Yeah,
get
that's just
iron.
how every iron farm works, dude. That's just the average iron farm. How you make them is completely different between these versions. But the two things that remain the same between the two versions is you need villagers and you need lava.
I already know what lava is and water. You're drinking a lot of water there, mate.
Ah. Alright, let me put my doctor mask back on. Perfect. Alright. There. Hey dude, guess what?
What?
What did you want to say? I'm telling you, he's already here.
Yeah, not for my people watching my stream though. I love this song for no reason other than it's just absolutely hilarious. Alright, how far am I going to go before I stop? Oh no!
Wait, hold on, Ben.
Yeah.
Sorry. How much CPU does it take when all the people on your NPM server are all on?
Well, I don't know that due to the fact that I've never had everybody on at once. But for 5 people and streaming, my CPU hit around 50% usage. And that was mostly because of streaming. But just know that's Bedrock Edition. Java Edition is much more demanding than Bedrock.
I mean, yeah, it's more complicated in a way.
I'm getting heat warnings. My craft's going to start destroying itself because of how hot the front of it is. Getting oh, never mind. I just crashed into a tree.
And if I counted right, there is 10 NPM.
There are not 10 NPM members. There are 15.
15 for NPM.
Yeah. There's 15 total. Some of which have never actually played on the server. However, I've known them in real life and know I can trust them. Such as my good friend Jacob. He moved away from where I currently live, and so I haven't seen him in years, but I know he's trustworthy.
Wait, he's on the server.
He's allowed onto the server. He's never been on it.
Oh. Wait, how do I check CPU usage?
I'm not sure. I just have something that allows me to check it on the go. Something that costs $250 or
250 bucks.
yeah, I've got the Elgato Stream Deck XL. If you've ever heard of that.
System resource usage in task manager.
Oh yeah, that's also another good way. Task Manager. Control Shift Escape.
Wait, how much? Java TM platform messy binary graphics.
Yep, that's Minecraft Java Edition.
Wait, the Java TM platform messy.
Yeah, that's Java. That's Minecraft Java.
Discord takes up quite a bit of CPU.
Oh no.
That's what it's taking up. All of that. The HP touch.
Button. Yes! I'm going to start becoming Cowman.
Wait, Killman? You know what's taking up the most CPU?
What is
The
it?
the HP Touchpoint Analytics installer.
That sounds like malware to me, my friend.
No, it's perfect.
Hold on, I can barely hear you. Give me a moment to get to the thing I'm currently destroying with nano things. Okay, that's a large drop off. Ah, I did it. Okay.
Create a free server at minecraft.com.
All right, I can hear you now. What? What was it called?
So, wait, hold on. The HP Touchpoint Analytics installer.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like it should be running. I suggest selecting it and clicking end task.
Isn't that what connects to printer or something?
I don't know. I've never had something like that running on my thing. So wait, did you click it to show more details, right? In the bottom left corner, it says more details. If you click that, you can see everything.
No, I'm already on more details.
All right. So yeah, for me, what's taking up the most CPU is currently Space Engineers. After that, it's OBS. After that, it's Discord, and then
The
Task Manager.
The CPU usage should be like about 20, 25 or something. But this thing is taking up 34, like about 34.2 CPU.
All right. Just click on it, and then in the bottom right hand corner, press End Task.
Are you sure that's not gonna do anything?
If it crashes your computer, then we know not to do it again. Don't worry, it's only a temporary thing.
Temporary?
Yeah, meaning it'll start itself back up after a computer restart.
There is GPU. GPU looks good. Yep, only 31% GPU, and that's it.
Yeah, let's see. For me, CPU is quite high just because I'm playing a game and streaming. GPU is at its normal for 3D stuff because I'm playing a game. So yeah, I'm good. I'm looking good.
Oh, okay, that's Minecraft. No wonder the GPU is a little high. I'm running Minecraft. And if I close Minecraft, yep, GPU lowers, interesting, to 12%. Wow. Okay, so tell me to, sure, because I'm pretty sure this is a thing that can print.
I love how in Space Engineers with the guns you don't even have to reload. As long as you just have the ammo on you, you can shoot as much as you want until you run out.
Hey Ben,
What?
are you sure to end task?
Yes.
Okay. Oh Jesus. Holy moly.
What?
The CPU dropped to like 29%. 26, 23.
Hold on, dude. What was the application called again?
Like something HP, I don't remember now. Hold on, it should be here still.
Yeah, if you look down further on the list, you can see everything that is running. You never want to end task any of the Windows stuff. You do that, you're probably going to be screwed.
It was like HP Touchpoint Analytics installer.
Okay.
I think that's what it was called. It's for the printer. How fast is my stuff gonna be? That's my question.
Okay, here, hold on.
Performance CPU 21%, 20%. Jesus Christ. Ben, what is happening?
What?
The CPU is so low now. 19%, that's the lowest it's gotten. 18%, that's the lowest it's gotten. Jesus
Alright, I
Christ.
searched up the thing and it popped up. Appears it's a, let's see. It's a spyware, apparently. It's a spyware, Windows automatically downloaded it. It appears to be spyware.
Oh. So
I
that's
suggest
Michael.
uninstalling it.
Okay, how do I do that?
Okay, so you want to hit your Windows button?
Okay, and just search it up.
Yeah, and then search up HP Touchware.
HP Touchware. You said HP Touchware?
Yeah, whatever the application was called.
It was.
Here, yeah, I should have it open still. Yeah.
HP.
HP Touch Point. HP Touch Point.
Oh yeah, HP Touch Points. Oh god. Hold on. Hold on, I messed up. HP Touch Points. Analytics or something?
Yeah, it should be there. It should have popped up, did it?
Hold on. What was it? HP Touchpoint Analytics installer. So
Yeah.
you said it was spyware?
Yeah, right click it.
I haven't done. I haven't finished it yet. Sorry.
Okay. How much is this thing doing?
No, I don't see anything.
Okay.
HP support assistant. The only thing I could find is HP Smart, HP Update, and HP Office Jet Pro.
Okay. Did you search up HP Touch Point?
HP Touch Point. Nope, I don't see any.
All right. Then
I
head down.
think it just uninstalled. Wait, hold on. I think I uninstalled when I end the task. Because I don't see it here in the processes or something.
Well, I doubt it uninstalled. I'm guessing it's just not active. So that I think you're good. You're and you said it was an installer, correct?
Yes.
Well, then that probably means that it hasn't even installed, so there is no spyware.
Oh.
Yeah, it was only an installer, so you should be good, I think.
Yeah, I hope that did nothing to the printer.
I doubt it. I mean, if it was running with that much memory power, that's a problem. Alright. I want you to do Control-Shift-Escape again to go to the task manager.
Control Shift Escape.
Alright, you're on it, right?
Yep.
Alright, now go to startup.
Startup. Got it.
And now
Ish.
look for it. Look for it in the startup. Does it say anything about it in there?
No. I only see HD, HP, whatever thing, application.
Alright.
So it probably, if it was an installer, then it probably canceled installing.
Yeah, I'm guessing you're good now.
Let's just hope it doesn't mess up.
I doubt anything would mess up. I haven't even gotten anything about it. So you should be good.
And everything should be running fast, like pretty fast now.
Yeah.
Let me try running Ragnamod. If I can. Because Ragnamod doesn't want to work anymore. How much gigs of RAM should I put into it?
How many maximum do you have?
8 gig of RAM. 8 gigs of RAM.
Okay, I would put all of that. Because I have 16 gigs of RAM on my computer, I put 10 into it, and I can just I can run the game with around 50 FPS.
And you have like 6 more gigs of RAM.
Yeah, I have 6 more ready at my disposal.
So use all my RAM
Yeah, basically that's your best bet.
for it to work good.
Yeah.
And plus with the CPU pretty good, it might be able to start up now. Finally.
I've just been watching this thing slowly disintegrate in front of my eyes. Ugh. That was a close
Oh
one.
god, it crashed.
Yep, that sounds about right.
Wait, Java Virtual Machine Launcher could not create the Java Virtual Machine. A fatal exception has occurred. Program will exit. Okay.
Huh. I'm going to guess, I'm going to guess Ragnarok is not for you.
Well, I want to delete it on my Twitch.
Alright.
But apparently it's locked or something. I don't know.
Have you tried uninstalling it trying installing it around now?
Wait, what?
Have you tried uninstalling it again?
Fuel low.
What do you mean?
Have you try uninstalling it again now?
Now? Nope. It still says they're locked.
Alright. Okay, so then click on it and try going to the files.
Want me to go to the file?
Yeah.
Okay, I open the folder right now.
Fuel critical.
I opened the files.
Alright.
So what do I do now?
So you're in its files, correct?
Yes.
Do you see all the mods?
Yeah. Jesus Christ, this is a big file list. So it goes from Twitch to Minecraft to download, export, install, whatever. List continues. I am at Ragnarok, the file itself.
Okay, you see the Ragnarok's file, right?
Yeah.
I want you to right-click it and select delete.
Oh God. Well.
Did that work?
Let me check. Hold on. Let me reset Twitch. Let it. Let's see if the mod is gone now. Oh, the mod's gone. Yeah, nice.
Yep, now you just have to go to your recycling bin and permanently delete it.
Recycle bin. Where should it be? Frag the mod. Delete. Permanently delete. Your stream left.
Alright.
Why do I select Twitch? Still have this payment range. Oh, there's stream elements. OBS.
Fuel critical.
Wait,
Hmm.
hold on. Wait, hold on. Ben. Ben,
Yeah.
if I delete the stream elements OBS, will that affect the stream elements OBS that I have currently in the recycle bin?
There's a stream of elements OBS in the recycling bin?
Yep.
I don't think it should affect it then, because if you didn't put it in there.
I put it in there because you know when I was using it, it would always freeze and stuff when I was saying about that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, oh okay, yeah. I think I should. Why is there so much name and reach?
Oh, well,
Fuel
that's
critical.
great.
Oh yeah, by the way, I have a question.
Yeah.
What type of video editor do you use?
Hit Film Express.
Hit Film Express. It's free, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it's free, and you can, well, it's sort of free. You basically have to, advertise it on one of your, social media platforms to, get access to it.
That's it?
But you want to know a hint? You don't even have to do that.
How?
When you go to the download, it'll ask you to do it. Just hit one of the buttons, and then just leave the social media page it
Fuel
opened up.
critical.
It'll still think you. It's basically
look
a
at-
trust system.
Oh, look at that, Ben. Player.me is in the trash bin.
Nice.
Ready, set, delete. I deleted it, Ben. I deleted it.
Nice.
So, wait, you're saying that if there's a OBS stream elements inside the trash bin, it shouldn't affect the OBS elements?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It shouldn't affect your actual stream elements, because if it's in the trash, you've changed its entire file thing and it cannot run anymore.
Okay. I have export in here. I'm gonna just delete that. For some reason, I have Universe Sandbox in here.
Huh.
Weird, but okay. Let's just hope.
Why is it taking so long for this thing to deconstruct?
Hold on, I'm gonna try running stream elements now since I deleted the bin file. Yep, it's fine.
Yeah, exactly. What, did you think I was lying?
maybe a little bit. You know how you do me now.
Alright, well, you know what? It's getting late. I'm going to end the stream here. You stay here. Anyways, whoever watched, thank you for watching. It's much appreciated. We are slowly getting closer to our affiliate goal. So, thank you very much for that. But otherwise, I will see you all next time. A goodbye.